Hello everybody, Naughty Nana Does. I'm back. I just finished up my notes for the budget that they passed. I'm wearing a 911 hat because this is an emergency. Just saying. Now, while Trump held his little pay-to-play with the mango moose knuckle dinner last night in Maryland for his top 220 meme coin donors. Minimum was just over $1 million from what I can gather. From people and places we would probably be terrified to find out about, but would like to know. They're also transparent, right? Transparent as friggin' mud. He made over $294 million from that dinner. He put that in his pocket because, he's got to pay for food and he's got to pay for health care. He takes Ozempic, right? Not Ozempic, but the fat pen. Yeah, he's got to pay for that. And in the States, it's $1,300. So that gets expensive, especially to get all that off of him. He's got living expenses, right? Just had to take a second job. Or a third one like he had to do when he went all the way to the Middle East and had to do all that work. Oh, it's tiring, isn't it? But Caroline kaboom, just kaboomed again. Because what she did, remember when SCOTUS gave him presidential immunity against anything he does as president? Guess what? She said at the press briefing when they were asked about who's going to get the list and who was on that list for that dinner last night, friggin' Katie. She just Kate kaboom. She just shoved Trump's body under the train and ran over it and reversed and ran over it several times because she stated that the president was on his own private time and this was his private time, not presidential time. So they can keep that list a secret. Let's just see how that's going to work out when Democrats take over in 2026 and that impeachment starts. There's already been 2 people put impeachments in. One's got 7 articles. 7 articles of impeachment. So there's that. But I just got to say that MAGA is a friggin' insult to Americans. How dare you? How dare you? Every single one of you Republican Jesus MAGA freaks that voted to hurt millions of people deserve a front row seat under hell. The huge ugly willy of a bill only passed 214 to 215, with one Republican, Andy Harris of Maryland, voting present. Do you know why? Because he wanted to take more away from you. He didn't think the cuts went far enough. Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Warren Davidson of Ohio voted no with the Democrats. And 2 MAGAs, Andrew Garbarino of New York and David Schweikert of Arizona, accidentally fell asleep and missed the vote. One guy tried to, at the last minute, insert his card, but too late. Apparently, Mike Johnson said that he was going to strangle them. That should be something to look into. But yeah, accidentally fell asleep. Was it really an accident? Because now they can go back and say to their constituents, I didn't vote for that shit. I didn't vote for that. No, it wasn't me. When they secretly told their buddies, I was going to vote with you. But, The bill now goes to the Senate. But apparently the Senate wants to cut a whole bunch of things out and rewrite a bunch of things. But they're going to get the same treatment that those Congress people have, because as soon as there's any dissenters in the Senate that are Republican, they're going to get a little tap on the shoulder, a little smack upside the head. They're going to be ushered out of the room. They're going to be taken in to the Republican interrogation room. They're going to be handed a phone, and they're going to be just like a little hostage, and they're going to have to sit there and listen to the MAGA moose knuckle extort them. They'll be threatened. They'll be threatened to be primaried. They'll be threatened with taking committees away from them. And they'll be sworn at to levels worse than what I do here. I am positive of that. So anybody concerned about my little pie hole spouting off here, imagine what they're getting from the President of the United States. But apparently that's okay. And they will be bullied until they do agree to pass it. Chip Roy from Texas, Tim Burchett from Kentucky, and Mike Lawler of New York all said, hell no, we won't go. Hell no, we won't vote. They're not going to vote for that bill. No, we're not going to do that. And it's going to hurt my constituents. Mike Lawler actually said, I'm not going to sacrifice my constituents. I know my constituents very well, and I respect the president and all, and I know how important this bill is to them, but it would be the single largest tax increase in American history. No shit, Sherlock. Yeah, for the average Joe, what's it going to do for them? It's going to screw them over 6 ways to Sundays, I'm just saying. But I'm not going to throw my constituents under the bus in a bad faith negotiation, which this has been by leadership and Jason Smith, who is a Republican from Missouri, who says the bill only adds $3.7 trillion over 10 years. He said, but we'll just have to see what the Congressional Budget Office says. Well, you better sit down, Mr. Jason Smith and Mr. Lawler and Burchett there and Chip Roy, because the Budget Office says it'll be closer to $25 trillion over the 10 years, not 3.7. Already put almost $9 trillion in the first 4 years. And you were bitching about Joe Biden's $3 trillion in a once-in-a-lifetime infrastructure bill that you were going to do every 2 weeks and never happened? It's just like, we'll have peace in Ukraine in 24 hours. None of this shit comes out of your mouth is true. So yeah, over 10 years. And don't forget, they wanted to put another spending bill through in September. Just saying. That's apparently what they want to do now. So much for holding out for your constituents, Mike. You said you knew your constituents, and it seems that the only reason why you held out, don't give a shit about the rest of the stuff, the Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, none of that. You didn't give a shit about any of that. You held out for SALT, state and local taxes, which is important, don't get me wrong. But when you're talking about people's property taxes and stuff that they can write up, do you know how many of your constituents have a property that's being taxed? They're renting. And maybe you won't even be able to do that come 2026 when all these things come into effect, which isn't too far away, I might add. But yeah, then you caved because you got the big smack upside your head, got hauled into the interrogation room, got berated, belittled, made fun of, and you caved. You feckin' caved. And then you don't think that's going to be so bad because you want to run for governor of New York. Guess what? You better get in line, because all the shit that you've done with all these benefits you're taking away from your constituents that you know so well, obviously you don't. You think they're going to vote for you to run their state as well? Are you mental? You MAGAs really are the bottom of the dung heap. You really are. The only one thing that is you're making good on is making all of you guys rich. All of you guys are getting rich. off of this bill because he's increasing your tax. The average American, they're saying are going to see $1,800 for a year. I don't think that's going to be even close. It's probably going to be more like 400 because they're not done cutting, slamming, and slashing. You guys make, in your private life as well as your political life, make about $75 for every $1 that your constituents make, at a minimum. There are 11 billionaires in Trump's cabinet, 207 lawmakers in the Senate and the House are worth way over $1 million, one report says. Over 50% of lawmakers are worth over $1 million compared to only 1% of the total population. And these are the guys that just passed a bill to screw you over that says single Medicaid recipients need to work $80 a month to stay eligible. Just this one thing on Medicaid and Medicare, this from the folks in power right now that take 6 weeks vacation in the summer of 2024. They took several weeks off at Christmas, and every time they didn't get their way last year, every single time that they did not get their way, Mini Mike I Got No Johnson just banged that gavel and recessed Congress for another few weeks. So they got basically up to 4.5, almost 5 months off last year because Mini Mike just loves vacation. He doesn't have a bank account, so where's he storing his money? His mattress? They still got paid for all that time off. You take that much time off and see how many benefits you're going to get, but they got all their benefits. They still got their free health care, and they'll get it if they've been there after 4 years. They'll get it for a lifetime, and they still get their travel allowance, which I kind of acquiesce to give them because they've got to travel between their family and a rental in Washington. They have to travel back and do those town halls for their constituents that Trump told them they're no longer able to do. So what they're doing now, Republicans only do town halls for Republicans now because apparently that's all that they represent. And what they do is they screen folks at the door and they check a list to see if you are a registered Republican. And if you're not, you aren't allowed into the club. No Dems allowed. And they only answer questions, like a few of them, like Maggoty Trader there, gets questions when you come in. You write a question, put it down, reach in the fishbowl and pick it up, that type of thing. Yeah, you're not allowed to do it in person. Otherwise, you get thrown the hell out. That's how much they give a shit about their constituents. They only represent the Republican ones. Republican Jesus loves you, I suppose. So, are you MAGAs that effing stupid that you voted against your own best interest? Say yes, nod your head. You are a cult of fools. You have just over a year before your benefits run out in 2026. If you are poor and your SNAP benefits are gone, Medicaid is cut to the bone, and if you think you may be worthy that they will let you work for benefits, good luck. Food stamps, Meals on Wheels, veterans benefits, food supplements for children and seniors, cancer research fund. But you do get a tax break from the Republican Jesus MAGAs. You get a tax break on silencers for your gun. But you got to know, you can't eat that silencer and you sure as hell can't live in it. If you don't have a car or public transportation in your town, just where in the hell are you going to go to find a job? Where are you going to go? Where are you going to go? 80 hours a month or you get booted off. How are you going to get to that job? Hitchhiking? Or walking? Got a bike? Might be able to. Maggoty is a bike. Don't worry, you won't be alone. Maybe you can run a carpool or something. Hopefully y'all get the same place to work at. You won't be alone because Musk, RFK, Kristi Noem, Cash App Cattell, the Treasury Department, all these agencies, Department of Education, have cut approximately 283,172 jobs, give or take, plus 6,945 indirect job cuts for a total of 290,117 job losses. Good luck finding a job when all these people are out there competing for the same job that you want. And these folks add to the 13.4 million that are going to be booted off Medicaid, Medicare, and lose their benefits. Because all those government people had benefits. They're not going to have any either. And we're told they got booted for job performance. That's because these young 20-something friggin' hackers in there didn't give a shot. They had a list and they just deleted the list. Goodbye, you're gone. And they just come up with just like their script. Woke theory, whatever the hell else they say. That was the list, that you were fired for job performance. Meanwhile, people have got certificates on the walls signed by the director of whatever agency they're for. Yeah. Pictures taken and everything else, but they were fired for job performance. What a crock of shit. Yeah, I saw a sign that said, and this cracked my ass, I think I giggled for 2 days over this, only billionaires and stupid people voted for Trump. I suggest you check your bank account. My heart aches for those people who didn't vote for any of this garbage. For the folks that live in the path of hurricanes, tornadoes, fires, and floods, because FEMA is also stripped to the bone, and the fella that just took over has no effing clue as to what he's doing because he has no disaster management experience whatsoever. Maybe he can go to Jared Moskowitz because he did run the disaster management program in all of Florida, and you know how many storms, hurricanes, and shit that has gone through there and floods. Maybe he should talk to Jared. So he's got no disaster management experience whatsoever. And they fired all the people that did have experience. It's the same thing in every single department in this fracking regime. No experience? No problem. You're a buddy, and you're a buddy, and you're a buddy. I like you, so you can have the job. On-the-job training at your peril. If there is a chance in hell that the Senate will pull back or rewrite this bill and send it back to Satan's second in command, Mini Mike, I've got no Johnson, I just got to tell you, my thoughts and prayers. My thoughts and prayers, Mini Mike. Thoughts and prayers. Because those, in situations like this, are as fucking useless as you are. So that is video number 2. 911, it's an emergency. Start the sirens. Naughty Nana loves you. Be good, be safe. Please take care of you first if you're new. Love me, like me, share me. Don't forget to subscribe and my hangers on. We are in this together. And it's not all of you Americans. It's like I said. I worry about you guys. I do. My heart goes out to you. I love you so much. Be good to you first so we can be good to somebody else. If you need a mental health day, please, for God's sake, take one. Take one. It's no skin off my arse. Take a sick day if you need one. You got to have a mental health day to keep this and this in tune. I love you all. Mwah. Oh, he pisses me off. Oh.